Hi, boys and girls. We are going to be doing chapters 13 and 14. And for today, I definitely want you to respond on Google Earth. I'd like you to respond on Google Classroom today with a question that I'm going to pose at the end of the chapter 14. Okay? Doesn't have to be much, just a sentence or two, and you can respond via the actual the post of chapters 13 and 14 on Google Classroom. Hope you enjoy, and here we go. Penny, no, Mrs. V calls out, dragging Doodle behind her. Penny has scooted out of Mrs. V's front door and halfway down the ramp from her porch, shouting, "Bye-bye," from under the green baseball cap. Butterscotch, at home in our backyard, would have been having a doggy fit if she could see Penny trying to bolt. It's one of those early November days that an artist would love. Red bronze leaves, bright gold sunlight, leftover summer. I don't blame Penny for trying to bolt. Mrs. V scoops her up and brings her back in the house. "Going work?" Penny pouts. "Not today, honey buns," Mrs. V says firmly as she locks the front door. Penny loves wearing hats and playing dress up. Mom rarely buys fancy church lady hats for herself. But Penny, she'll sometimes pick out crazy looking straw hats and bows and ribbons and bring it home. At home, Penny spends a crazy amount of time in front of the hall mirror with a couple of Mom's plastic necklaces hanging down around her shoes, a purse on each arm, and a hat tilted sideways on her head. "Gotta go work," she says, with one hand on her hip. Who has ever seen dressed going to work like that? Mom asks, and we all crack up. "She's only 2. I'm not going to be able to afford this kid when she's old enough to go shopping on her own," Dad always says. He snaps every cute pose she makes with his cell phone camera. When Mrs. V sets Penny back down, Penny pokes her lips out, throws Doodle on the floor, and wraps both arms around her chest. I laugh. I wish I had enough coordination to have attitude. "Here, Penny, why don't you just sit down and draw me a picture instead?" Mrs. V says, whipping out a box of crayons. Attitude forgotten, Penny grabs a handful and promptly begins to scribble all over the coloring book, as well as Mrs. V's table. I wish I could use crayons. I draw a rose with a velvety red bloom and a green stem and a yellow-green leaf coming out of it. I can see it clearly in my mind, but of course, when I put a pencil or crayon in my stupid, tight little fingers, all I can manage are squiggly lines, nothing that looks even close to a rose. I want to draw it for Rose. She has rose designs on all her notebooks and book bag. I don't know where her mother finds such cool stuff. Rose's name really fits her. She's pretty and delicate and nice to be around. If she has thorns, like real roses do, I've never noticed. While Penny is busy with her crayons, Mrs. V checks her mail. She opens several envelopes, then gasps with surprise. "Guess what, girls?" she exclaims. "I won the contest." I look at her with interest. Penny continues to scribble, ignoring both of us. "I entered a contest at the bookstore in the mall," she explains to me. "The topic was, why are fish important in our world ecology?" I point to food on my board and smirk. "No, silly," she reaches over and tickles me. "I wrote something about the oceans and the balance of nature. I don't honestly remember what I said, but I won first prize, a trip for 6 to the new downtown aquarium. All expenses paid. Stupendous." I've seen commercials on television for the aquarium. It's supposed to have sharks and turtles and penguins and millions of other sea animals. "Go?" I asked by pointing on my board. "Well, besides me, I don't know who else to take," she says, scratching her head and grinning. I kick my foot straps loose. Me, I want to scream instead of point to myself. Who could I take? Mrs. V teases, looking around the kitchen. I can tell she's trying hard to not to laugh. Me, I jab. Well, of course I'll take you, Mellow Yellow, Mrs. V says, smiling. Just think of all the new words we'll gather. I'm going to write down the names of every single fish you learn. I slap my head, pretending to be upset. So if I take you and Penny, your mom and your dad and me, that's five. I wonder who else we could take. She scrunches up her face, thinking. I know immediately. Rose could go with us. I spell out her name, Rose, and again, Rose. Then I hit, please. Hmm, your friend Rose from school? I buck and kick with excitement. I think that's a great idea, Melody. I'll ask your parents and her parents if she's willing. We'll have a wonderful day. I can't stop kicking my feet. It takes several weeks for both mom and dad are off on a Saturday, but Thanksgiving weekend ends up working out for everybody. I have trouble sleeping the night before. Rose's parents seem really nice from what I could tell from listening to mom's end of the conversation. I couldn't believe Rose wanted to come. She wanted to come with me, the kid in the chair. At school, Rose whispers with me excuse me, about the trip, just like I'd seen other kids do when they have secrets. I felt like a real girl. Now that the Saturday is finally here, we all pile into our SUV early in the morning. Even though the weather has turned pretty chilly, I made sure mom put on a really nice outfit on me. Cute jeans and no sweats. Rose hasn't said anything about what I'm wearing, but she keeps cooing over Penny. Your sister is so adorable, Melody, Rose says, and I smile and nod. Penny reaches out her chubby little hands and claps. Woozy, she says. I think she said my name, Rose exclaims. Your sister's not only cute, she's a genius. As we drive, Rose chatters with my parents and Mrs. V like she's known them all her life. I watch it all silently, thinking, this has to be the best day of my life. When we get to the aquarium, Dad unloads my chair and eases me into it while Mom gets Penny's stroller out and straps her in. Rose pushes Penny as Mom pushes me so we all can be side by side. The place is crowded, I guess because it's a holiday weekend. Nobody pays any attention to me, which is perfect. I can almost forget who I am. Inside, fish tanks go from the floor all the way to the ceiling, and I think of Ollie. He might have been happy here. In one tank, shark swims overhead, just like we're actually looking up from the ocean floor. Okay, so Ollie might not have been happy here if he was in that tank. I've never seen so many fish from all over the world, it seems. Fish with spikes and spots, fish with markings so beautiful they look painted. Penny slaps at the glass whenever a fish comes close. Fishies! Oh, fishies! Mrs. V, as promised, writes down the names and species and takes pictures so I can remember when we get back home. Mom and Dad whisper together like teenagers. I've never seen them so relaxed. We stop in front of every tank. I love the jellyfish, which remind me of the streams of shiny cloth, and the lionfish, which really do look like swimming lions. At the seahorse tank, Rose observes that her heads are pointing backwards. She seems to be having a great time. Then, from around the corner, come two people I'd least want to run into. Molly and Claire. They are with a Girl Scout troop. They're fake bumping into each other, not paying much attention to the group leader, who is telling them about the percentage of salt found in ocean water. Molly and Claire, dressed exactly alike in jeans and long sleeve t shirts and their scout vests, look at Rose with surprise. Hey, Rose! You here with your mom? Claire asks. No, Rose said evasively, walking away from us and towards them. Your dad? Molly says, looking at me like I smell bad, and she's acting like my parents are invisible. I'm here with Melody and her family, Rose mumbles. On purpose? Claire shrieks, but she and Molly start laughing loudly. It's not so bad, Rose says quietly, but I heard her. Mom starts to say something to the girls, but Dad takes her arm. They're children, he tells her. Let them work it out themselves. Mom has daggers in her eyes, the sharp points she shoots at people when they say dumb things about me. But she stays quiet. Her fists are balled. Mrs. V, however, isn't going to let anybody stop her. From her almost 6-foot height, she towers over Molly and Claire. You, girl with the braces on her teeth. Claire looks up at her stunned. Yes, ma'am? Claire has sense enough to say. Why do you think your parents spent money getting you braces? Huh? Claire looks confused. Molly has quietly disappeared into her scout troop. Your teeth were imperfect, so your parents got you braces. One day you'll thank them when you're on a date for the prom, Mrs. V roars. The whole scout troop, plus a few other visitors to the aquarium, stop to listen to her. What do my teeth have to do with anything? Claire asks, looking around nervously. Some people get braces on their teeth. Some get braces on their legs. For others, braces won't work, so they'll need wheelchairs and walkers and such. You're a lucky girl that you only had messed up teeth. Remember that. Yes, ma'am, Claire says again. Then she scurries off to join her friends. Rose walks back to us, a little embarrassed, I think. Claire can be clueless, she whispers to me. You think? After a few more tanks, Penny gets tired and starts to whine. So we leave the aquarium before we even get to see the penguins. We take Rose home, and she thanks us properly and says she had a really good time. But did she? Chapter 14. The Monday following Thanksgiving break, Catherine and I roll into Miss Gordon's language arts class a few minutes before the bell. It doesn't look like I'll ever find out what Rose really thought of the trip to the aquarium because she clearly has more exciting things on her mind. Everyone is huddled around her desk. Awesome! I love the color. It didn't even know that they came in lime green. Oh man, that's what's up. How many songs have you downloaded so far? What's your new email address? You got IM? Videos. That's so tight. I wish my mom would get me a laptop like that. I roll closer. Rose is showing off a brand new laptop computer. I can get on the internet and find stuff for school and type up all my homework, she's telling the group around her. I've already uploaded pictures of my dog, and I've got my own MySpace page. Now, boys and girls, MySpace was way before Facebook and all these other things. MySpace isn't even around anymore, I don't think. I just shake my head as Catherine takes me back to my usual place in the back of the room. A laptop. I'm still pointing to the words and phrases that Mrs. V and my mother had taped to the board that's strapped to my wheelchair. And Rose has the internet. I guess that means the whole universe at her fingertips. I close my eyes, trying not to cry, dreaming of the perfect melody-made computer. First of all, it would talk. Oh yes, people would have to tell me to shut up. And it would have room to store all of my words, not just the most common ones that have gotten pasted on this dumb plastic board. It would have big keys so my thumbs could push right on the buttons and it would connect to my wheelchair. It would not have to be lime green. I opened my eyes with a start. Such a thing has to exist, right? Or something like it. Maybe? I grab Catherine's arm and point to Rose's computer. Me, too! I punch on my board. I do it several times. You want a computer like Rose's? Catherine glances over at Rose's laptop. Really is a nice one, even if I don't have one as cool as hers. No, I point. Wait, You don't want a computer? Catherine sounds confused. I have learned to be patient with people. Once again, I point to Rose's computer, and then the words, me too. I search all over my communication boards, and the words better, nicer, and cooler just aren't there. So I point to good, then go to the alphabet strip and jab at the letters. E, R, gooder. I sound like a doofus. Oh, Catherine says finally, you want a better computer than Rose's. Yes, I pounded on the board. Then I point to for and me. I get it, Catherine cried. You want something specially designed for you. That's just plain brilliant, Melody. I spell D-U-H, and we laugh. Miss Gordon starts class then, reminding everybody about the due dates for the biography project. Tomorrow, she announces, class will meet in the media center so that you can make final choices on the person you will write about. And next week, we will begin making outlines of your life stories. Any questions? Connor, always the class clown, raises his hand. I found out this guy who invented the flush toilet was named Thomas Crapper. Can I do a report on him? Kids crack up. Rodney laughs so hard, his whole face turned red. Miss Gordon shushes Rodney and the others. Sorry, Connor. I get this request every year. The flush toilet was invented in 1596 by John Harrington. No funny name. Do you still want to research him? Connor looks deflated. Nah, I guess I'll stay with the folks who started McDonald's. If I've got to spend a lot of time looking up stuff, burgers are better than toilets. Rodney tries not to burst out laughing again, but Miss Gordon silences him with a look. Who will you choose to write about? Catherine asks me. Miss Gordon walks around the class to the students in their project. I think for only a minute. Stephen Hawking, I spell out. I want to know how he does ordinary stuff like eating and drinking. After all, he's a grown man. Does his wife put him on the toilet? He has kids. How does he manage to be a dad? And I want to know about his talking devices, the super cool computers that help him talk and do really hard math problems, like finding black holes in space. I tap on the question for Catherine. Computer for me? I have no idea, she replies. Let's check it out. Boys and girls, that was chapters 13 and 14. My question will be on Google Classroom, and I look forward to all of your responses. Hope you have a great day.